Welcome back to the new video. In this video, we will be discussing complete syllabus of the UPSC Civil Services Exam. Let's know the syllabus of prelims. In the first paper, you will have current events of national and international importance, history of India and Indian national movement. Thereafter, you will have Indian and world geography. In the geography, you will have physical, social, economic geography of India and the world. Thereafter, you will have Indian polity and governance. In that, you will have constitution, political system, Panchayati Raj, public policy, rights, issues, etc. Thereafter, you will have economic and social development. In that, you will have sustainable development, poverty, inclusion, demographics, social sector initiatives, etc. Thereafter, you will have general issues on environmental ecology, biodiversity and climate change. Thereafter, you will have general science. In the paper 2, you will have comprehension, interpersonal skills including communication skills, logical reasoning and analytical ability, decision making and problem solving. Thereafter, general mental ability. Moreover, you will also have basic numeracy, which will be numbers and their relations, orders of magnitude, etc. Thereafter, you will have data interpretation, that will have charts, graphs, tables, data sufficiency, etc. Now let's know the syllabus of the mains in the detail. As we saw, there will be two qualifying papers, that will be Indian language paper and the English paper. For English, you will have comprehension of given passages. Thereafter, you will have precise writing. Thereafter, you will have uses and vocabulary. Thereafter, you will have short essays. When it comes to the Indian language paper, that is also pretty much closer to the English paper. In that paper, you will have comprehension of given passages, precise writing, uses and vocabulary, short essays. Thereafter, you will have translation from English to Indian language and vice versa. Thereafter, as you know that you will have the essay paper. Whatever subjects will be covered in the essay, that will be overlap with the other subjects. Now let's discuss about the general studies one. In that, you will have Indian heritage and culture, history and geography of the world and society. And the subtopics are Indian culture will cover the silent aspect of art forms, literature and architecture from ancient to modern times. Thereafter, you will have modern Indian history from about the middle of the 18th century until the present. There you will have significant events, personalities and issues. Thereafter, you will have the freedom struggle, its various stages and important contributions from different parts of the country. Thereafter, you will have post-independence, consolidation and reorganization within the country. Thereafter, history of the world will include events from 18th century such as Industrial Revolution, World Wars, retrieval of national boundaries, colonization, decolonization, political philosophies like communism, capitalism, socialism, etc. Their forms and effect on the society. Thereafter, you will have salient features of Indian society, diversity of India. Thereafter, you will have role of women and women's organization, population and associated issues, poverty, developmental issues, urbanization, their problems and their remedies. Then we'll have effects of globalization on Indian society. Then we'll have social empowerment, communalism, regionalism and secularism. Then you will have salient features of world's physical geography. Thereafter, distribution of key natural resources across the world, including South Asia and Indian subcontinent, factors responsible for the location of primary, secondary and tertiary sector industries in various parts of the world, including India. Thereafter, important geophysical phenomena such as earthquakes, tsunami, volcanic activity, cyclone, etc. Geographical features and their location changes in critical geographical features, including water bodies and ice caps, and in flora and fauna, and the effects of such changes. Now let's know the syllabus of the GS2. In that paper, you will have governance, constitution, polity, social justice, and international relations. The subtopics are Indian Constitution, in that you will have historical underpinnings, evolution, features, amendments, significant provisions, and basic structure. Thereafter, you will have functions and responsibilities of the Union and states, issues and challenges pertaining to federal structure, devolution of powers and finances up to local levels and challenges therein. Thereafter, you will have separation of powers between various organs, dispute redressal mechanisms, and institutions. Comparison of the Indian constitutional scheme with that of other countries. Parliament and state legislatures, structure, functioning, conduct of business, powers and privileges, and issues arising out of this. Structure, organization, and functioning of the executive and the judiciary. In that, you will have ministries and departments of the government, pressure groups, and formal and informal associations and their role in the polity. Thereafter, salient features of the Representation of People's Act. Appointment of various constitutional posts, powers, functions, and responsibilities of various constitutional bodies. Statutory, regulatory, and various quasi-judicial bodies. Government policies and interventions for development in various sectors and issues arising out of their design and implementation. Development processes and the development industry. The role of the NGOs, non-governmental organizations, self-help groups, various groups and associations, donors, charities, institutional and other stakeholders. Welfare schemes for vulnerable sections of the population by the center and states, and the performance of these schemes, mechanisms, laws, institutions and bodies constituted for the protection and betterment of these vulnerable sections. Issues relating to development and management of social sector services relating to health, education, human resources. Issues relating to poverty and hunger. Important aspects of governance, transparency and accountability, e-governance, applications, models, successes, limitations and potential, citizens chartered, transparency and accountability, and institutional and other measures. Role of civil services in a democracy. India and its neighborhood relations. Bilateral, regional and global groupings and agreements involving India and or affecting India's interest. Effect of policies and politics of developed and developing countries on India's interest, Indian diaspora, important international institutions, agencies and fora, their structure and mandate. Now let's know the syllabus of General Studies 3. In that paper, you will have technology, economic development, biodiversity, environment, security and disaster management. Indian economy and issues relating to planning, mobilization of resources, growth, development and employment. Inclusive growth and issues arising from it. Government budgeting, major crops, cropping patterns in various parts of the country, different types of irrigation, irrigation systems, storage, transport and marketing of agriculture produce and issues and related concerns, e-technology in the aid of farmers. Issues related to direct and indirect farm subsidies and minimum support prices, public distribution system, objectives, functioning, limitations, revamping, issues of buffer stocks and food security, technology missions, economics of animal rearing, food processing and related industries in India, scope and significance, location, upstream and downstream requirements, supply chain management, land reforms in India, effects of liberalization on the economy, changes in industrial policy and their effects on industrial growth, infrastructure, energy, ports, roads, airports, railways, etc. Investment models, science and technology, developments and their applications and effects in everyday life. Achievements of Indians in science and technology, indigenization of technology and developing new technology, awareness in the field of IT, space, computers, robotics, nanotechnology, biotechnology, and issues relating to intellectual property rights, conservation, environmental pollution and degradation, environmental impact assessment, disaster and disaster management, linkages between development and spread of extremism, role of external state and non-state actors in creating challenges to internal security, challenges to internal security through communication networks, role of media and social networking sites in internal security challenges, basics of cybersecurity, money laundering and its prevention, security challenges and their management in border areas, linkages of organized crime with terrorism, various security forces and agencies and their mandate. Now let's know the syllabus of General Studies 4. In that paper, you will have ethics, integrity and aptitude. This paper will include the questions to test the candidate's attitude and approach to issues relating to integrity, probity in public life, and his problem-solving approach to various issues and conflicts faced by him in dealing with society. Questions may utilize the case study approach to determine these aspects. The following broad areas will be covered under this: ethics and human interface, essence, determinants and consequences of ethics in human actions, dimensions of ethics, ethics in private and public relationships, human values, lessons from the lives and teachings of great leaders, reformers, administrators, role of family, society and educational institutions in inculcating values, attitude, content, structure, functions, its influence and relation with thought and behavior, moral and political attitudes, social influence and persuasion, aptitude and foundational values for civil service, integrity, impartiality and non-partisanship, objectivity, dedication to public service, empathy, tolerance and compassion towards the weaker sections, emotional intelligence, concepts and their utilities and application in administration and governance, contributions of moral thinkers and philosophers from India and world, public civil service values and ethics in public administration, status and problems, ethical concerns and dilemmas in government and private institutions, laws, rules, regulations and concerns as sources of ethical guidance, accountability and ethical governance, strengthening of ethical and moral values in governance, ethical issues in international relations and funding, corporate governance, thereafter probity in governance, concept of public service, philosophical basis of governance and probity, information sharing and transparency in government, right to information, codes of ethics, codes of conduct, citizen chartered, work culture, quality of service delivery, utilization of public funds, challenges of corruption. Thereafter, you will have case studies on above issues. Moreover, as already told you, you will have to choose single optional subject that will have 2 papers. You can check out the syllabus of your optional subject, whichever optional subject that you are preferring.